Hey guys, Geoffrey here. In this video, I'm going to show you what you need to focus on when you find yourself in a position where your partner is wanting to see other people, or perhaps she's already in the process of actually exploring other relationships right now. And be sure to stick around to the very end of this video because I'm going to show you some very crucial paradigm shifts and mindset shifts that you need to have in order for you to start finding the right answers to your problem. And in order for you to start the process of actually growing and bettering yourself in a way that will actually re-attract her back. And it's not until my clients understand this that their relationships begin to really change. So this is going to be highly impactful, and I want you to make sure that you don't miss anything. So be sure to stick around to the very end of this video. Now, in case you're new to this channel, my name is Geoffrey, and I help men in long-term relationships or in marriages with the right skills and with the right mindsets as well to be able to design a thriving relationship by yourself. So if you want more content on this topic, be sure to subscribe to this channel and also click that bell button as well to be notified when I post new videos every single week. And before I begin this video, I also want to let you know that the free masterclass on the 5 proven steps to rebuilding your relationship from the ground up is still open. So if you want to join that masterclass, or if you want to submit your application for the Relationships Revival program, be sure to stick around to the very end of this video for the announcement on how you can join both of those. Now, to begin this video, I want to let you know here that if your partner is currently interested in other relationships and so on, that there's really only one way to guarantee your success. And there's only one way to get that reassurance you need to build that trust. And to understand this, the one way, we need to understand the difference between working on the product and working on sales and marketing. So if you look at most people in this position, what they tend to do is they tend to either focus on their short-term things. They're focused on finding the right things to do and say, the right techniques in a way to try to convince their partner why they're the best, why they should invest in this relationship, and why they should come back as well. But if you think about this in, let's say, a business terms, this is like someone with a bad product looking at all his customers going into other businesses and exploring other businesses and then wondering to themselves, what can I say and do to try to convince this person that my product is the best, when actually his product is not the best? And if you're in a position right now where your partner is exploring other relationships, you have to admit here that there may be something gravely missing from your current relationship. Now, I know that it's easy for us to just simply pin the blame on our partner, tell ourselves reassuring things like, oh, I deserve better, and pin the blame on your partner to say she's not loyal, she's toxic, whatever it is. But if you really think about this, doing this, taking the easy way out like this, doesn't really do you any good. Because all it does is, yes, it makes you feel good in the short term and that you get to sit in your high horse and tell yourself, oh, this is her fault because of XYZ reasons. But in reality, it really robs you of the opportunity to actually learn something from this experience, to actually grow yourself, to actually identify the fact that there may be something actually gravely missing from that relationship. And if you don't identify these problems, if you don't confront them, if you don't learn from them, then you are going to be replicating the same mistakes and the same failures and the same causes of breakdowns over and over again in your future relationship as well. So while it's easy to just focus on the sales and marketing like this and just focus on the short-term things to do and avoid the actual hard work of working on yourself, it doesn't actually do you any good in the long term. And again, if your partner is considering other relationships right now, you have to admit that there has to be something missing, gravely missing from the current relationship. And you can avoid this however you want, but the fact is always going to be the fact. You can ignore reality, but you cannot ignore the consequences of ignoring reality here. But if I look at all my clients who have been very successful, and if you look at even entrepreneurs who are always very successful, what they really focus on is working on building the best product that can be. In terms of business, that's literally the product you build. You're trying to make your product the best version of itself so it can sell itself, basically. And in your relationship, the product is really you. The people who are successful are the ones who really focus on looking within and making themselves into the best and most irreplaceable versions of themselves. And if you focus on the marketing and sales right now, if you focus on the short-term things to do and say, yes, you might get your partner back in the short term. She might fall into your sales and marketing tactics and come back in the short term. But when she does come back, it's going to be through a very logical reasoning because you told her to. But if you don't take care of the things that are actually missing in the relationship, then her emotions are still going to be one foot at the door. And she's still going to be thinking about other relationships and so on. And so, you can focus on all the sales and marketing you want. But at the end of the day, the sales and marketing will only get you very short-term results. And if it only gets you the short-term results, you're always going to be wondering in your life. And you're always going to be sleeping with one eye open because you just don't know when your partner's going to leave that relationship again, when it's going to come crumbling back down again. Because you can see and you can feel your partner having one foot out the door all the time. And the ironic part is that when you feel this uncertainty, when you feel this insecurity, when you watch your partner is wanting out all the time, it's going to cause you to do a lot of toxic things in return, to exacerbate the toxic things you do that cause the breakdown in the relationship in the first place. And it's going to make your worst nightmare into a self-fulfilling prophecy. So focusing on the sales and marketing does not do you any good. What we want to focus on is to focus on the product. It's building you as a person. And that's the only way to real security. For our business, for example, the reason why we have a lot of security in our business is because we know that we have built the best program out there on the market. We have people who spent close to 50 grand on other programs and they choose our program. And building an awesome product like that is always going to beat any sales and marketing we do. In fact, we don't even do a lot of sales and marketing. We just make YouTube videos telling you and people about our philosophies, our principles, and so on. And that's how we get all our clients. And the same thing in our relationship. It's only when our clients really start to focus on building themselves and making themselves into an irreplaceable version that they really start to get their partner to really do a double take on the relationship and really come back to the relationship. But when they do come back to the relationship, it's because they chose it. They emotionally chose it and not because you told them to. And so if you want that security of wanting your partner back, but also getting that security of keeping your partner as well, you have to start focusing on the product, not the sales and marketing. Now, to build up the first point here also is that what you need to be looking for is not the what you should do, it's about the how you should do it. So I'm going to start this with a quote. And the quote says basically, if you have the right process, if you understand the right process, you can thrive under any circumstance. But if you have the wrong process, then you will struggle under any circumstance. So here, I'm sure we know of a lot of people in our lives, for example, who it doesn't really matter what they touch, what career they choose, what relationships they have. It seems that whatever path they choose, they make it thrive. They seem to make it work and do well with it. But we also know a bunch of people who whatever they touch just fails. It doesn't matter what they do, whatever business they start, whatever relationships they have, they just keep failing and failing and failing. And the reason again is that the people who succeed, they understand the right process. And the people who fail, they don't understand the right process. It's not about the what, it's the how that really, really matters. And if we can go deeper here, this is also why you get to see these people as well who, once someone starts a successful business, a successful venture, you'll find that they can replicate the success over and over again. It's that first success that is really hard. Again, it's because once they get the first success, they understand the right how. They understand the right methodology, the right process to replicate that success. Once they understand the how, that's when everything changes for them. So the real answers here never really lies in the what you do. So if you're looking for advice around like what to say, should I do no contact? Should I say this? Should I say this words, this script? Should I do this? Should I give her presents? Should I help her more? Should I, whatever it is. The answer is never really in the what. If that's your questions, you're asking the wrong questions. The answer is always in the how. It's about how you say it. It's about the intentions you have behind the how you say it, the what you say. It's how you dance around curveballs, how you dance around resistances, how you conduct yourself in the small moments in the relationship. So if you're in a position right now where your partner is seeing someone else, graduate yourself from asking the what questions. So don't ask, for example, if you should do no contact, whatever it is, go to the how. Now the challenge with the how is that the how is always harder. It's more nuanced, it's more detailed. The what is easy. And so for example, there's a lot of people who go to my YouTube channel and go to my Facebook group and they say, hey, Jeff, I tried doing what you're doing. I tried saying this, I tried doing that, but it didn't work. Well, did you do it correctly? Did you get the how correct? Did you get the how behind the what correct? And it's important to understand this because once you start to change the nature of the questions you ask, you will start to get very different answers. So the quality of the answers you get in life is going to depend on the quality of the questions you ask. So just remember this. It's all about the details, the answer is really in the how. And if you want to get the how right, you have to be able to become a geek a bit and understand the nuances behind everything that you're learning and not just about, oh, should I do no contact or not? So now that we understand the importance of the how and not the what, let's spend a bit here talking about the right ways, the actual right ways to what it means to better yourself and make yourself into this irreplaceable version of yourself. Now, in the previous video, we talked about the root of why relationships fail. And we said that essentially relationships don't fail because of the problems itself. So whether it's financial problems, whether it's you arguing too much about finances, about the kids, you don't have aligned goals, you are missing some sexual attraction, those things are not really the issues. The real issue is the fact that you don't have enough safety and trust to be able to not only express the issues, express the difficulties, express the challenges, express the conflicts, understand each other on it, and also then once you understand each other is to resolve it. Because the truth is that, let's say you have financial issues or you have some intimacy issues. If you had safety and trust, not only can you express it, you can talk about it, but you can find some solutions to it. But if you have intimacy issues, if you have financial issues, and you can't even talk about it, you can't even express it, let alone find win-wins to it, that's what makes us feel very, very hopeless. So relationships never break down because of the problems itself. But relationships break down because of the fact that you don't have enough safety and trust to be able to resolve those conflicts together. So if you want to go deeper in this video, I'm going to put a link above my head here. But if we understand that concept, then we start to understand the differences between what is the right approach to actually better yourself and the wrong approach. So if you scour YouTube, for example, and you find, let's say, marriage helpers videos, you'll find that they talk a lot about this thing called pies. So physical, intellectual, emotional, and spiritual. Now, these are not really the things you need to be focusing on. You don't need to be focusing on building pies because pies itself are still in the realm of the problems itself. Because if you truly understand how to gain safety, how to create safety, to be able to talk about anything you want and resolve anything you want, it doesn't really matter if you have any emotional issues, any other issues that the lack of pies bring. You can still talk about it and resolve it. And the funny thing is that once you understand how to actually create safety, you realize that creating safety is not just about saying and doing the right things. It's about having this deep change inside you. The deep change inside you actually creates more safety than the external stuff. So for example, if you're able to be emotionally bulletproof, if you're able to grow your self-esteem, if you're able to grow your identity shifting and shift your identity in the correct ways and in more healthy ways, then you're naturally going to be creating a lot more safety here. Right? It's easier to feel safe with someone who is emotionally bulletproof. It's easier to feel safe with someone who has the high self-esteem. Now, the funny thing also is that when you have the right ingredients to create safety, then you also have the right ingredients to be able to resolve, understand, and also follow through on the solutions that you create, on the solutions that you talk about. So again, if you talk about bettering yourself, it's not about just focusing on pies, it's focusing on something deeper than that. So it's funny because whenever I hear people talking about bettering themselves to get their partner back, the first thing they talk about is always like, you need to go to the gym and work out and get healthier. Well, yes, that helps, but it shouldn't be the root thing that you focus on. There are actually more important things, more highly impactful things that you can be focusing on besides just going to the gym. And I can tell you right now that your relationship does not break down because you didn't go to the gym enough back then. Right? It's a more deeply rooted issue than that. It's not also about financial things. So a lot of people talk about, for example, gaining more money and being more successful in their career. Yes, that helps, but again, it's not the actual issue itself. Because if you had financial issues, but you're able to create safety and trust, you'll be okay. You can get through it together. And it's not about the 5 love languages. Because if you had the safety and trust, you don't need to assume each other's 5 love languages. In fact, you can have the right conversation here to understand a more custom view of, a more unique view of your partner's actual 5 love languages. And not only that, you have the right ingredients internally to be able to follow through as well. And it's not about the tangible things like doing people's chores and doing more things around the house, taking care of the kids more. Yes, these things help, but they're not going to be the root things that you need to be focusing on. The root thing you need to be focusing on is really creating this deep sense of safety and trust. That's the only one thing you need to be focusing on. Because if you create the safety and trust, then again, it doesn't matter what problems you have. You have the avenue to be able to talk about it, to be able to discuss it, to be able to build off of, find win-wins, find resolutions, etc. And so to create safety, not only are we wanting to climb the relationship mountain that we talk about in a lot of our master classes, but also we're talking about the 3 layers of changes as well, the frameworks, the mindsets, and also the identity shifting as well. And the last thing we need to understand here also is that when you work on pies, for example, when you work on the financial things, when you work on the 5 love languages, when you work on the tangible things in a relationship, these are things that are replaceable. These are things that you can find in a lot of places. So for her, for example, she can find a lot of rich people everywhere. She can find a lot of more fit people, more intellectual people, more spiritual people. She can find people who understand the 5 love languages even deeper. I mean, she can find that. pretty easily. So when you start to work on these peripheral things, yes, it might give you the illusion that you're making progress, but it's not the thing that will make you irreplaceable. What's really hard to find these days is a person who can create this radical safety and trust. What is really hard to find is a relationship where, even though they have conflicts, they have the right mechanism by which to understand each other and find win-wins. That's really, really hard to find. That's what's going to make you irreplaceable. And if you don't understand the importance and how much power creating safety can have, and how much power you get when you start to focus on the 3 layers of changes that allows you to create safety, I want you to actually watch a lot of my client stories. For a lot of my clients, they have joined Marriage Helpline and they have focused on pies. They have focused on, a lot of these men are wealthy and a lot of these men are fit and they have done all these tangible things of how to get their relationship back. But at the end of the day, once they start to understand how to climb the mountain, create the deep sense of safety, and understand the 3 layers of changes so that they can create a deep sense of safety, that's when their relationship really begins to really, really change. That's when their partner really starts to do a double take. Because when you create safety, you are creating the essence of what relationships are all about. When you create safety, you're creating something that makes you irreplaceable. And if you don't believe me again here, feel free to look at all my client stories. So if you're finding yourself in a position where your partner is seeing someone else, focus on the one thing only, is understanding the right process, the right internal shifts that allows you to create safety in a relationship. And when you can do this, you're going to make yourself into an irreplaceable version of yourself. Now, doing this takes work. Doing this requires that you don't take the easy way out. You don't just focus on the tactical things. That you don't just fall into this advice that you get around false reassurances of telling yourself how awesome you are. It does require that you're humble. It does require that you look within and actually admit that maybe there's something that I can improve on here. So if you want to go deeper and learn what this mountain is, this relationship mountain is, and what the 3 layers of changes are, and if you want to learn how to actually grow yourself to the point where you can create a deep sense of safety that makes you irreplaceable and get the success that all my clients have gotten, I want you to join my masterclass. And in that masterclass, I'll show you the exact process of how to create safety, the exact process of how to change internally as well, so that you can essentially win and get your partner back. So if you want to join that masterclass, or if you want to apply for the Relationships Revival Program, you can click the link above my head or also down below this video as well. And if you want a free guide that can help you understand a bit better on what these frameworks actually mean, on what you can perhaps say and do, to give you a taste of what you can say and do, then you can download the guide I have for you above my head or also down below this video. And if you want to join a community where you can post your questions and engage with me and a member of my team as well, then you can join my free Facebook group down below this video as well. In the meantime, if you found this video helpful, be sure to like it. It really helps the channel out. And also click subscribe as well if you want more content like this one. In the meantime, leave a comment below. I would love to hear from you. I would love to hear your thoughts. And for now, I'm going to leave you with just 2 other videos here with more skills and more knowledge for you to design a thriving relationship. For now, I will see you in the next video.